Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Jyoti Tiwari and I am a postdoctoral fellow in the Department of Earth Sciences at IIT Bombay, working under the supervision of Professor Somajit Mukherjee. Today I'll be talking on geohazard education in India, current status and future direction. Our focus is on the academic framing of the geohazards in India. How is curricula compared nationally and globally? What can be added to the syllabus and how we can bridge the gap using modern tools and studies. Let's start with the presentation. Geohazards or geological hazards include natural earth processes like earthquake, landslides, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions. These events can disrupt human life and infrastructure. In India, given its diverse and dynamic geological settings, especially the Himalaya and coastal belt, geohazard education must be integrated deeply in an academic program to build future resilience. Let's look at the syllabus for geological hazard for different universities. Many Indian universities teach geohazard as part of geography and geological curricula. Institutes like IIT's IGNOU offers specialized courses covering earthquakes, floods, landslides, cyclones, tsunamis, and volcanic activity. The focus range from physical mechanisms to mapping and mitigation. Some syllabi are part of programs like NPTEL and SWAYAM and offers an excellent foundation for geohazards. Let's look at the syllabus. These are the syllabus for different universities for geohazards in India with universities and the courses they offer and what is the key focus area in their course. University of Jammu has Geohazards and Disaster Management Department with comprehensive geohazard and Indian disaster policies. IIT Guwahati offers Geohazard Science and Engineering Department with hazard forecasting and quantitative analysis. Mizoram University has Environmental Geology and Geohazard covering basics of environmental geology and hazard impact. University of Kashmir has Hazard Profile of India Department with Indian Geological Hazard Distribution and Policy. Sambalpur University has Environmental Studies and Disaster Management course with disaster planning integrated with geology. Periyar University has Environmental Geology and Disaster Management Department with Environmental and Hazard Policy application focus. IIT Bombay has Earth Sciences Department that focuses on seismic, geophysical hazard modeling, remote sensing, landslide, etc. IIT Delhi has rock engineering and underground structures like seismic engineering, geotechnical hazard response. IIT Kharagpur has Geology and Geophysics Department that focuses on earthquake, landslide risk, and field-based hazard methods. IIT Kanpur again has Earth Science Department with tectonics, geochronology, and analytical hazard modeling. IISc Bangalore has Center for Earth Sciences with Earth System Hazard Integration and Climate Hazard Interaction. JNU New Delhi has Environmental Science Department that focuses on policy, disaster response, and environmental impact of geohazard. University of Delhi has Geology Department that is focused on field geology, tectonics, and geomorphology for geohazards. University of Hyderabad has Center for Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Sciences with multidisciplinary hazard analysis. GIS, and sustainable hazard mitigation. Also, there are many international universities that offers different courses for geohazards. Like Stanford University has a course named Natural Hazard that focuses on earthquakes, volcanoes, landslides, tsunami risk assessment, and early warning system. ETH Zurich has a course named Natural Hazard and Risk Processes with focusing on seismicity, mass movement, flooding, and remote sensing application. University of Edinburgh focuses on geohazard and risk assessment of landslides, earthquakes, climate change, and hazard mapping. Imperial College London has National Hazard Department that focuses on earthquake engineering, coastal erosion, volcanic processes, slope failure. University of British Columbia in Canada has a department named Geohazard that focuses on slope stability and risk mitigation. University of Oslo and Natural Hazard, permafrost hazard, debris flows, glacial lake outbursts, seismic hazard, etc. University of Canterbury, earthquake and geohazard risk with seismotectonics, landslide risk quantification, tsunami modeling. Australian National University that has a natural hazard department with focusing on floods, fires, cyclones, earthquake hazards, climate change, and hazard amplification. University of Tokyo in Japan that has a disaster prevention and geohazard department that focuses again on earthquake mechanics, tsunami, early warning systems, landslide risk, and hazard. These are few of the topics that can be added to the syllabus to enhance, understand geohazard importance. Modern remote sensing and INSAR application can be added to the syllabus. There are few courses that teach INSAR and drone mapping, but they are basically GIS based. Real data handling and analysis should be there. There is very rare syllabus that holds a real practical approach for data handling. It is basically theoretical. Multi-hazard interaction should be there. As we all know, India has multi-hazard chain like earthquake triggered by landslide, floods triggered by landslide, but these are not systematically taught as multi-hazard chains and the topic still remain isolated. Community-based disaster risk reduction, Himalaya, Northeast communities that have a traditional knowledge for this geohazard and it is very poorly covered in the syllabus. Also, climate change impact on geohazard should be added as climate is intensifying, floods, landslides, glacial lake outbursts are becoming common in the Himalaya, and climate change taught separately in environmental science, not majorly in geohazards. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and hazard prediction should be involved in the syllabus as they can now be used to predict landslides, earthquake, floods, and can be used for their mapping. However, it is still absent in the syllabus. Seismic hazard and microzonation study has to be there as earthquake risk needs local microzonation. Some IITs teach earthquake engineering, but general geohazard courses lack this. Early warning systems and practical approaches should be taught to the students. A setting up of early warning system is critical. Doppler radars, seismic networks, rainfall thresholds should be taught to them, but it is only discussed theoretically. No practical exposure is provided. Post-disaster recovery plan. It's an important topic that has to be covered in the syllabus. Like recovery plan is key after hazard event, but it is rarely included in the syllabus. As already mentioned, apart from the syllabus, there are many part-time programs like NPTEL and SWAYAM that offers an excellent foundation courses for geohazards. One such course is a natural hazard that is offered by IIT Kanpur. It covers hazard week by week, covering tectonics, ground motions, landslides, floods, volcanic activity, and mitigation strategy. The program emphasizes hazard prediction, modeling, and the Indian context of hazard exposure across diverse terrain. What more can be added to the syllabus of NPTEL and SWAYAM to enhance our understanding for geohazards basically involves strong Indian context, that is, some case studies can be added to the syllabus. Along with that, liquefaction, which is a critical hazard during an earthquake in alluvial plain, can be added to the syllabus. Along with that, seismic microzonation, already mentioned, glacial hazard, climate change, river erosion, permafrost degradation, and slope failure, which is very important for high Himalaya, warning triggers and mass wasting events. Detailed multi-hazard cascade analysis, that is again the multi-hazard chain, can be mentioned in the syllabus. Urban geohazard, that is subsidence, flooding information, infrastructure risk, growing risk due to unplanned expansion can be added again in the syllabus, which is very lightly covered. Advanced monitoring technique like INSAR, GNSS, early warning system that are very critical for modern hazard sciences. Machine learning and AI that can be used for some hazard predictions, community-based disaster risk reduction that focuses must move towards empowering communities, not only the physical sciences. Post-disaster recovery, which is again as already mentioned, is very important, like the mental health, rebuilding challenges after a major disaster. It is generally neglected in the syllabus and can be added to the syllabus. Both NPTEL and SWAYAM include introductory courses in natural hazards. These are exceptionally good for foundational learning, discussing earthquake, landslide, floods, and cyclones, but they often lack some Indian specific content such as GLOF, that is glacial lake outburst floods in the Himalaya, or liquefaction, that is in Gujarat. Also, some advances in AI, remote sensing, and early warning system is still missing in the syllabus and can be added to the syllabus to more enhance our understanding of geohazards. Along with that, at postgraduate level, postgraduate diploma in disaster management is also offered by IGNOU, that is Indira Gandhi National Open University. It offers a postgraduate diploma with broad hazard and policy topics. However, we recommend that course include India-specific modules, Himalayan hazard, earthquake triggered landslide, cascade events, early warning system, and case studies using GIS, INSAR, and GNSS. What more can be added to the syllabus for different courses? It includes a dedicated module to Himalayan hazard like glacier lake outbursts, flooding, earthquakes, landslides, a separate session on liquefaction, that is, earthquake secondary hazard, some cascade hazard modeling studies like earthquake triggering to landslide, triggering to flood, modules and early warning system, that is, seismic hazard, flood, cloth warning in India, and use of GIS, remote sensing, INSAR, and GNSS monitoring examples from India. Post-disaster social impact and community recovery strategies are very important topic that needed to be covered in the. Let's look at the syllabus for geography that includes geohazard. The school syllabus, especially ICSE class 10th geography and ISC geography class 12th, addresses geohazards well. Earthquake, volcanoes, tsunamis, floods, and landslides are covered in the topic. ISC geography includes disaster mitigation and preparedness. These are the syllabus for ICSE class 10th geography and ISC geography in detail. Now, along with that, CBSE textbook also covers drought, cyclones, slope failure, and seismic zones of India, but the syllabus could better incorporate India-specific case studies and technologies like hazard mapping. These are the detailed syllabus for class 10th and class 12th geography related, that is related to geohazards. And some practical approaches is also done, like using of map and data to locate disaster-prone region. These are the important books that are being used in class 11th and 12th for geography, that includes GeoHazard, that is India Physical Environment, and India People and Economy. In graduation and post-graduation level, natural hazard and mitigation is also taught in Savitribai Phule Pune University. The BSc Geography syllabus includes natural hazards in semester 1, semester 2, and in second year, semester 3 and semester 4, and again taught in the third year in semester 4 in form of geography, natural hazards in India, drought, rain cover, and that. In MSc Geography, also it has hazard-linked courses like Foundation for Earthquake, Volcanoes, Cyclones, Storms, Thunderstorms, Hazard and its mitigation cycle, some modern tool like GPS and GIS, Community Resilience and Institutional Role in Geohazard. Also, it includes coastal hazard, that is erosion, sea level rise, tsunami, mitigation strategies, and some drought and flood control data. Along with it, it also had hazard sensitive land use and development, real world hazard case studies, and modeling in its syllabus. Presidency University Kolkata offers a course in BSc Geography and MSc Geography that is related to geohazard. The BSc Geography syllabus for natural hazard include understanding plate tectonics, earth structure, monsoon, cyclones, landform evolutions, river basins, coastal flooding, tsunamis, and fieldwork that include hazard-prone site surveying, report writing, and mapping geographic, geomorphic, and climatic risk area. In MSc, the syllabus includes the movement of earth, landslides, and susceptibility mapping, fault zones, and risk-prone landscapes, and climatology, tropical storms, storm surges, changing in the climate impact modeling, environmental degradation, and the dissertation that includes flood zonation, landslide modeling, urban heat risk, GIS, and remote sensing for hazard prediction and mitigation. Presidency also offers a course in BSc Geology, that is Geomorphology and Geohazard, that includes Introduction to Geomorphology. It has a practical approach for the analysis of topographic map for geographic features, identification of landforms and associated hazard, fieldwork that focus on geomorphological mapping and hazard zonation. It is relevant to geohazard and it helps in understanding the genesis and evolution of landforms, that helps in identifying areas that are prone to hazards. Also, knowledge of geomorphic process is essential for hazard prediction and mitigation planning. The MSc course that offered by Presidency University Kolkata includes stress and strain, groundwater occurrences, aquifers, principles of remote sensing, rock and soil mechanics. How is it relevant to geohazard? Understanding structural features aids in assessing earthquake zone areas and landslide susceptibility. Also, it is essential for evaluating geohazards related to groundwater, such as land subsidence and contamination. It is a vital tool for mapping and monitoring geohazards like landslides, floods, and erosion, and also crucial for designing structures in geohazard prone areas and implementing mitigation strategies. IIT Roorkee also offers a course in MSc Geology and Geomorphology for geohazard. The objective is to impart a comprehensive understanding of landform development and processes and their significance in interpreting Earth's surface features. It offers a course to understand geomorphology, weathering, mass wasting, some fluvial geomorphology, desert and glacial geomorphology, tectonic and coastal geomorphology, and applied geomorphology. It is relevant as it helps in understanding again the geomorphic processes that are crucial for assessing natural hazard like earthquake, landslide, floods, and coastal erosion. Geomorphological mapping that helps in identifying vulnerable zones and planning mitigation strategies. Integration with modern tools like GIS enhances the accuracy for hazard assessment. These are the geohazard syllabus by different geography department in universities in India. Like Delhi University has a geography and BA honors in geography with natural hazard and disaster management that offers a course for types of hazards, earthquake, flood, cyclones, vulnerability mapping, disaster risk reduction. Jawaharlal Nehru University again has a course that is MA Geography that involves natural and man-made hazard with earthquake, floods, urban flooding, tsunamis, cloudbursts, climate change, etc. Aligarh Muslim University offers a course in MSc Geography that is Environmental Hazard and Disaster Management, again focusing on geophysical hazard and disaster policies. BHU offers a course in MA Geography again for natural hazard and management with floods, droughts, earthquakes, river hazards, GLOVs, etc. University of Calcutta has a course in MA Geography with Environmental Hazard and Disaster Management, focusing on earthquake, landslides, coastal erosion, risk assessment, GIS, remote sensing, etc. University of Madras has MSc Geography, that is Geography of Natural Hazard course with tsunamis, cyclones, based disaster risk, community mapping, etc. Punjab University has MA Geography course in disaster management and environmental hazard like floods, earthquakes, droughts, urban vulnerability, risk reduction. University of Mumbai offers a BA Geography course with natural hazard and disaster management, earthquake, flood, cyclones, wildfires, coastal hazard can be studied in that syllabus. NEHU, that is Northeastern Hill University, offers MA Geography course with Geography of Hazards and Disaster and includes natural disasters, floods, droughts, risk analysis, etc. with focus on Northeast Himalaya. University of Kerala has MSc Geography with Environmental Hazard and Management, Coastal Erosion, Coastal Cyclones, Landslides in Western Ghats, Flood Mapping, and Early Warning System. Indian geography curricula covers fundamental geohazards well but need modernization and region specific technological training to be added in the syllabus. What's the key difference between geology and geography syllabus? Geography syllabus basically emphasizes on spatial distribution mapping, socio-economic impact, while geology or geophysics syllabus focuses on physical processes, subsurface structures, and detailed mechanics. Also, geography syllabus focuses on community vulnerability and policies, while geology syllabus focuses on fault mechanics, ruptures, physics modeling. Integration of remote sensing, GIS, and human environment integration is done in geography, while in geology it is interaction of seismic data analysis and material property study. In conclusion, Indian Geography Department teach geohazards in broad multidisciplinary way with focus on type, causes, mapping, societal impact, and management strategies. Slightly less technical than geology, but very strong in spatial analysis, vulnerability, and policy. There are many institutes and clubs that are working for geohazard assessment and vulnerability and mitigation. Some institutes that are working in geohazards in India are National Institute of Disaster Management, that is currently organizing training programs, workshops, and collaborate with various stakeholders. It is in New Delhi. There was an institute, Indian Geotechnical Society, again in New Delhi, IGS, that is temporarily closed. It focused on involving in the study of geotechnical engineering and mitigating geohazards like landslides, soil liquefactions, and many more. Another institute, that is Indian Society of Earthquake Technology, that is ISET IIT Roorkee, which is permanently closed. It focused on earthquake engineering and seismic hazard studies. Along with it, there are many international institutes too, global institutions like Geological Society of America that is that is providing a platform for collaboration and knowledge sharing. European Association of Geoscientists and Engineering that focuses on geoscience and engineering, International Association of Emergency Managers that focused on emergency management during a disaster, Geohazard Society, that is GHS, that is a partner with the program. It is a non-profitable NGO working with corporate sectors to conduct programs on community preparedness, school safety, home safety, hospital safety, and engineering training. National Disaster Response Force, that is NDRF, that is primary organization responsible for responding and managing disasters in India, including those caused by geohazards like earthquakes and landslides. Indian Institute of Geomagnetism conducts research that is based on major hazards using multidisciplinary approach and geophysical techniques. Geohazard International, which is not specifically a club, but it partners with organizations like GHS and United Kingdom's Research and Innovation, that is UKRI, to support various geohazard mitigation and preparedness projects in India. Disaster District Disaster Management Authority, that is DDMA, again, it works at a district level with organizations like GHS to implement disaster preparedness plans and conduct training program at district. Some more key organization and their focus, that is National Society for Earthquake Technology in Nepal. It is a non-profit organization based in Nepal that GHI again supports in 1990 and has since become self-sustaining. It focuses on earthquake risk reduction in Nepal. Another international organizations with some more geohazard preparedness are Global Facility for Disaster Reduction and Recovery, that is GFDRR, and United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, UNDRR, to more institutes that work in geohazard. The main focus is building resilience, that is strengthening building and infrastructure to withstand earthquake, landslides, tsunamis, and other hazards is their key priority. And disaster preparedness, they teach to be training communities and schools on how to prepare for and respond during a disaster. Risk mapping and assessment, that is developing tools and techniques to assess and map the risk associated with geological hazard. Policy advocacy, that is encouraging government to implement policies that help in reduction of these disasters. Technology and innovation, that is exploring new technologies and approaches to improve disaster management and response. There have been many geohazard conferences in the past 2 years that have been focused on geohazard assessment and mitigation. Some of them are included in this presentation. Over the past 2 years, several international conferences have focused on policy and management strategies during this geohazard. International conferences on geotechnical issues in engineering, infrastructure, and disaster management that has occurred in IIT Patna from January to 20 in 2024. It addressed challenges in energy infrastructure, tunneling, and disaster management, highlighting the integration of geotechnical engineering with other disciplines. Geohazard Risk Management Workshop again in 2024 that had been in Kathmandu, Nepal from 25th to 27th November 2024, organized by Nepal Geotechnical Society, National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority, and BGC Engineering Inclusive, focused on equipping Nepali professionals with skills for geohazard assessment, mitigation, and management. FIG Regional Conference of 2024 that again occurred in Nepal from 14 to 16, 2024, hosted by Nepal Institution of Chartered Surveyors and International Federation of Surveyors. It addressed climate responsive land governance and disaster resilience, emphasizing safeguarding land rights in the context of climate change. Third International Conference on Disaster Management and Human Health Risk 2024 in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur from 7th March 2024. It was organized by Lincoln University College. It focused on sustainable water management and environmental challenges, discussing the impact of water related disaster on health and economics. International Conference on Geological Engineering and Geosciences in Indonesia, 21 to 22 September 2023. It covered advancements in geological engineering and geosciences with session on geohazard and technology innovation in the field. There was a workshop on enhancing the management of geospatial data sharing for disaster risk reduction and sustainable development in China from 21st to 23rd of October in 2024. It was organized by ESCAP. The workshop focused on effective use of geospatial for policy planning. Sixth International Conference on Geography and Disaster Management in Indonesia from 12 to 13 December 2024, hosted by Universitas Muhammadiyah Soekarno. It addressed interdisciplinary approach to geography, technology, and disaster management for sustainable development goals. Fourth Badong International Geohazard Symposium, that is BIGS 2023, occurred in China, Badong County from 25th to 27th August 2023 with session featured on geohazard prevention. Conference on the role of disaster law in mitigation disaster and strengthening climate resilience in Thailand from 29 to 30th November 2023. It was organized by International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society, Institutes of Law, Emergencies and Disaster, SPARE India, NAP SIPAG Disaster Research Group, NDRG, and National of Social Sciences. Integral role of disaster law in preventing climate change and disaster were its key focus and relationship between disasters law and international humanitarian law. Pacific Disaster Law Meeting of 2024 that occurred in Fiji from 18th to 19th March 2024, organized by International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society. It brought together legal and policy experts for legal preparedness and resilience of these geohazards. Third International Conference on Disaster Management and Human Health Risk in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur on 7th March 2024. It was organized again by Lincoln University College. It focused on sustainable water management and environmental challenges, discussing impact of water-related disaster on health and economics. International Conference on National Disaster Risk Analysis, Management and Mitigation that occurred in Silchar, India on 23rd and 24th March 2024. It aimed to disseminate knowledge and build a disaster resilient society by addressing the increasing threat of natural disasters such as earthquake, landslides, and floods. Geohazard Day 2024 in Norway on 24th and 25th October 2024, organized by University of Bergen. This event served as a key platform for addressing the challenges posed by geohazards in Norway, bringing together experts from academia, industry, and government institutions to discuss mitigation strategies and policies. International Symposium on Georisk and Catastrophe Predictions in Morocco, 16th to 17th June 2023, discussed on prediction of natural disasters such as earthquakes, tsunamis, and floods, emphasizing integrated approaches to disaster risk reduction. International Conference on Geodisaster and Construction Engineering in Canada at University of Waterloo from 7th to 8th June 2024. It focused on preliminary lectures, keynote addresses, and presentation on geodisaster resilience and construction engineering. Last is the 11th International Conferences on Geological and Civil Engineering in Japan, 17th to 15th to 17th March 2024, with covering topics in geological and civil engineering with a focus on geohazard and infrastructure resilience. Such conferences and India's participation in such a platform could be reflected in the updated syllabi of with proceedings and learnings incorporated as reference material to the syllabus. Now, from all these things, this can be the model syllabus for BSc students. What more can be added is the basic concepts for liquefaction. Introduction to river avulsion can also be added, and how to monitor geohazard. Importance of early warning system. These are few of the things that can be added to the syllabus to and make it more understandable and knowledgeable. Why liquefaction should be added? Liquefaction is a major earthquake hazard. It destroys during a strong earthquake, saturated soil loses its strength and behave like a liquid, causing major ground failure. It's a major historical disaster of Bhuj 2001 and also 1964 Japan. It all was due to a massive liquefaction damage. It is an urban risk, like many major cities that are built on river sediment are at a risk of liquefaction. It is critical for infrastructure safety, needed for microzonation studies, engineering and remediational solution, and it can be linked with the climate. These are some of the important books that can be proposed for the syllabus. I'd like to go through the preface of this book. Natural Hazards, Earth Processes as Hazard, Disaster and Catastrophe by Keller and Divincio. This book offers a student-friendly and science-grounded introduction to natural hazard as physical earth processes such as earthquake, volcanoes, floods and hurricanes. It emphasizes that before we can mitigate disaster, we must first understand the natural system that causes them. One of its strengths is how it connects scientific theory to human impact. Through real world case studies like the 2011 Tohoku tsunami or Hurricane Sandy, this book illustrates how hazard becomes a disaster, not just because of nature but because of human decisions such as where we choose to live and how we build. At the heart of the book are five fundamental concepts: scientific prediction and forecasting, risk analysis and probability, interconnectedness of different hazards, human influence in amplifying risk, strategies for mitigation and preparedness. This structure helps lenders see that hazards don't exist in isolation. They are often linked and they're always shaped by a response. The book stands out for its balanced learning approach, combining scientific explanation with personal survivor stories, professional profiles, and data driven insights. It's designed not just to inform, but to engage. Finally, the book is instructor and student friendly, especially for non science majors. It features clear visuals, modular chapters, and an online platform with quizzes, like slides, and test banks. In short, this book is an excellent source for students and educators alike, equipping the next generation to better understand and respond to natural hazard. Another book, that is Natural Hazard by P.L. Abbott. It focuses on natural disaster, how to normal processes of earth concretes their energies and deal heavy blows to humans and their structure. It is concerned with how the natural world operates and is doing so kills and maims humans and destroys their work. Throughout the book, certain themes are maintained: energy source underlying disaster, plate tectonics and climate change, earth processes operating in rock, water, and atmosphere, significance of geological time, complexities of multiple variables operating simultaneously, detailed and readable case studies. Third is the Geohazards, Natural and Human by T.M. Kutsky. From tidal waves and sandstorms to lava flows and glaciers, natural geological processes are often hazardous to human life. This book examines the scientific principle behind these processes, explaining how and why they pose a frequent threat. 12 chapters cover such topics as earthquake, volcanic eruption, tsunami, mass wasting, stream and floods, coastal hazard, desert droughts and wind, glaciers and glaciations, hazardous geological materials such as asbestos and radon gas, natural geological subsidence such as sinkholes, sudden catastrophic geological events such as asteroid impact. Each chapter includes an extensive list of additional resources featuring books, journals, articles, websites, and contact information for relevant organizations.